So, this is my favorite part about what I do. I have this little, sometimes I get these little chunks of time where I can kind of ease into the night. I can ease into the hours of where I schedule and routinely do the times that I routinely have my scheduled, I don't want to call it work, but what I do with my time, what I do with myself, what I do with my life, what I do with my broadcasting, my opinions. And it feels like I'm just relaxing. It feels like I'm just relaxed. Like I can kind of ease and calm my nerves a little bit, maybe drink some caffeine. So indulge in my other creature comforts. And then sometimes also I happen to come around to it, bust out the microphone, and get the good creative juices flowing. And those are my opening words for this stopgap episode. I'm just borrowing the term stopgap from another, and that is, to me, okay, that's acceptable. I think borrowing terms like that is like an acceptable thing, considering that I'm in this community. Anyway, whatever. It sounds like it's getting kind of personal the way I'm saying it. Anyhow, and at any rate, and anywho, it's that time of the night for me. It's that time of the night right now. I can ease in, calm my mind, calm my nerves, start saying to myself things like, oh, I'm ready to start doing my thing and bust out the microphone, get the creative juices flowing. And then on instances like this where I like to do it the best, I just bust out the mic and I say, you know what, let's run it. Just press record, let's go. And then my episode is commenced. My episode's underway. This one is, as I said, a stopgap episode, and that is in contrast to the opening episode of the season that is actually an interview with another artist that I'm very excited about doing, irregardless of the fact that it's not live streamed in the first place. And again, starting the show years and years ago as live streamed episodes, guests on the show, live streamed, sort of downgrading and demoting here now to pre-recorded episodes, and then having this is the first official written interview episode. So I have to go and approach this one in a similar kind of way as I normally do, and that is, well, let me see what kind of creative stuff that I can venture toward, maybe expand my horizons, broaden my horizons rather. But the thing is, I'm stoked about that. I'm stoked about doing this episode so I could do one off the top, freestyle. And then I'm stoked about the next episode that I have pre-written. I got the notes and the show notes pre-written for that one. And then, so that sounds so confusing. I am aware of that. That's sounding a little confusing. Let me address that for a moment. Interview, stopgap, one that I have pre-written the concept for, followed by whatever, probably a Metal Hammer UK, probably something totally random that I haven't thought of yet. That is what spontaneity is, in fact, so I would go with that. I would go with the spontaneity aspect as the most valuable, though it might be very scarce. That's certainly the most valued asset right now, spontaneity, and it's this show and me as the host of it being no exception. Those spontaneous qualities are lacking over here as well. And again, I'm not complaining either. I'm just saying, that technically that's what that's technically what the other episode is supposed to be, should be, but it won't. It won't initially right off the bat, just from thinking it would be Metal Hammer UK, a Metal Hammer UK episode, and then there's the saying that goes, can't complain. Some people say just can't complain. Some people say can't complain, no one listens. In this instance, it's more accurate to just simply say can't complain. Can't complain. Couldn't complain. So, let's get the intro out of the way here. That's the framework. That's the framework. That's the setup. That's the bones. But you were listening to me, your host, Mickey GemInEye. This is Vault of Doom podcast.
in the frequency. Rivers that flow in now remind of such a vicious design. Reiterate on the other.
Just throwing you guys a snippet of some of the older stuff as I work out my current file library, and as I do that as well, it's a mental library too that I'm working through. And so with that, I have gotten out a lot of the stuff that I wanted to get out for videos, shorts that is. And well, I actually am actually putting out this cover song that's just, to me, just absolutely dreadful. It's so dreadful. It's like karaoke. It's like, well, hey, no big deal, really, honestly. You know, if that's what I'm feeling like doing right now, then just going ahead and doing it is a lot more helpful to me than not. So putting that out, I just wanted to work through any discrepancy with that, since again it sounds like I might be complaining, and I am essentially complaining. But those cover songs are totally separate than, so it's like it's one cover song, and then there's another that I want to do, but I don't know the lyrics and then have to look up. This cover song that I'm referring to, it's the most beginner level guitar and lyric song. So if you watch it and then you see me in my acoustic classical guitar, and then listen to me playing the song, it's the most beginner level of an easiest level song to play, and just, you know, so much. There's so much other stuff that I want to say about it, but it's just more important to put copy and paste my templates onto that description, which includes my cache tag and my link tree, my cache tag and the link tree. And then you can check out all the other stuff that I have as for all this self-promoting. It might be time for me to start looking into sponsors like I'd like. That would be great, you know, having sponsors, of looking at how realistic it is to find sponsors. There just simply is only like a certain amount that I could say about that as well. So with this being the kind of episode that it is, whatever's fine, as long as I keep the flow and keep this conversation flowing and in motion. That's always good. And I'm sure I'll bump into something cool that I actually want to talk about, and something I can use to say, this is why I'm marketable as a podcaster. Whereas right now, I'm just looking at it from I'm just saying I'm just useful. I'm just a good podcaster because I'm doing a bunch of other stuff at the same time. That's really the only merit that I would give, that I would guess somebody would give to me from an outside perspective, as there is nothing expected but complaints from here. There's no chances given until of course the chance finally is given to like check it out and see what I'm saying. I personally will never understand that concept whatsoever. That to me is without going into detail, but just simply saying I don't listen to podcasts in that way. I don't listen to podcasts and say, you're the weakest link or anything like that, or challenge what kind of value that it has to me. But I could totally understand, especially nowadays, why a lot of people would. and that's literally, that's about it. It just literally stops right there. Doesn't even matter. None of it even matters at all, anyways. What I'm getting at is that I jump from topic to topic and I keep on going. So the stuff that I have next here is, well, you might want to know, as I'm putting out these episodes and putting out this music and putting out these shorts, you might want to know what I'm doing. That you don't have to guess. You don't have to know when I'm doing so many different things. You could just say, oh, I'm doing podcasts and music and a little bit of tutorial videos here and there. And at the same time, I sort of have to keep my personal life very secretive, sort of, for the time being, with how apprehensive and cautious that I have to be from the reactions that I'm getting. The reactions that I'm receiving from the output that I'm putting out, that I'm giving, makes me very suspicious. So it's very tense, very unnecessarily tense. It's something about this, it's something about that, it's something in the way, and that happens to be the cover song that I put out, Something in the Way, from Nirvana, Nevermind. But as I said, a little bit of understanding comes from me, and then it stops right there. That's about it. That's about all I can do on that front. Folks. So getting into what else I could possibly, whatever else I could possibly have to talk about. Well, it's one of the things about doing this for a while. I'd like to go maybe just start off the topic I started off with, that doing pre-recorded episodes now has been proven to be pretty much an exploration in this avenue and on this platform, that I've applied some of the stuff that I've learned into making this show look pretty cool. It looks pretty cool. It sounds pretty cool. I don't want to say necessarily I'm happy with it. That's just not what at least not the accurate terminology. I wouldn't say satisfied either. I might even possibly just say I'm able to work with this. I can work with this, and it's all right. It's all right. It's all right. Yeah, it's all right. It's decent. That's kind of how I would approach it. Just like tilling the soil for this sort of go at it is where I'm at. That's where I'm at. I can work with this. So having, as I said, I use the term demoted and downgrading a little bit to written interviews, but my attitude really is that getting the interview, whether it be written, live, or pre-recorded, is still the interview. That people interested in the artist that are going to search for this or find it on some suggested videos can still use that just to help and assist with their fandom of artists. And moving on along. So with having guests on the show, I mentioned once the one guy that was just a music fan that I invited, and he said he's not a musician, and I said you don't have to be a musician to be on the show. That's a really good time. Let's sit and talk about music, even though you're not a musician yourself and you're just a fan. Let's sit and talk about music. That's a good time. There's stuff that I can anticipate that they might say, but the apprehension might be two-sided, if we think too far into it, it's all, you know, everything's going to be true. Everything's going to be resonating to you. Everything's going to be whatever, and all this other stuff. But, you know, I still take something from that space, that mental space, write it down, put it in the show, work through, pick through, do the editing, put the episode out. And then that's why you would say possibly I potentially don't necessarily care if I get feedback or not. But I do, though. I do care if I get feedback. I do require it. And there are certainly more important things that everybody else has to deal with. All the depression and mental health crises, all of the isolation, that's priority number one. People putting out content and then not getting feedback is that's the sitting duck in the show here, in the grand show of humanity. And that's not to say that as soon as I said that, my background music stopped playing some of my old music, but that is perfect timing, so I'll probably play something else in the background. Oh no, it's the final track that's going to be playing. So I'll just go ahead and leave it to a commercial break. Music break, rather. While you draining the main vein.
Zombies flash dystopian insanity unfold. Bleeding rays, blood to the veins, bleed for an age, unable to heal, licking the wound, the fire consumes everything here. Drowned in fear, always in light die the chance of tears. The rays that bled all summer, winter, spring, the rays that bled for years. Ashamed and strange, satiated moments of pleasure. These are a foreign concept. And souls malevolent spirit of vapor, eternally wax. Immortality through song and pain. The art of the dead, evil slowly crave forces of darkness. From forth an army made bow to a sharp-edged crest. Drowned in fear, always in light die the chance of tears. The rays that bled all summer, winter, spring, the rays that bled for years. Drowned in fear, always in light die the chance of tears. The rays that bled all summer, winter, spring, the rays that bled for years.
So you heard Torturous Divide from Torturous Divide, and then the final track off of that album called Rage. What I can use to what I can use from that to get jumpstart my next topic here is some pretty cool stuff. That sifting through all the photos and the photographs that I took for just from taking photographs, that those became, like the last song that I just mentioned, for instance, was literally created almost entirely from just taking a photograph, one of the random photographs, and then there's that, there's that right there, chew on that and digest that for a second, because and unless I'm talking about this, you don't even know. I don't even know. Unless I'm talking about it, I don't even know. That's something so freaking important, so crucial, that drawing inspiration to create songs, create music, and write the songs, write the lyrics, write the riffs, and have the concept behind the song in generally speaking, from starting with a photograph of a personally captured photograph. I guess that's kind of a new thing to me, but that is something that was, and I guess my conscious awareness to have done that. And it's the closing track to that album. It's an EP. I wouldn't say it's an album, but it's an EP, and that is the closing track to that album. But so anyways, I don't want to spend too much time there, so moving on along again as well. Sifting through all the photos that were in that batch, taking that photograph and then making that song from that photograph. There's a bunch of other photographs there. Those were all attached to just about every song that's out now or is set to be released for this year. But the news, I also do have some big news about that batch of songs. I mean, I normally just write the songs and then put the songs out. I have never really actually done my songwriting process the way that I'm doing it right now. It's a very difficult process. It makes it extremely difficult. I'm not used to that. I'm really not used to having making it so difficult on myself, but it proves the result is outstanding. The result is amazing, and it proves to be very rewarding. No guts, no glory. Anyway, as I was saying, those batch of photos were, there's gonna be probably maybe one that I just even have from it, but a lot of them are on my Instagram. I can, for this episode, put the link to my Instagram account on there, and then you can go check it out. But I don't think there's much more than like a handful tops that I can snag and grab from that batch to attach to physically and actually attach to the song. So that when the song comes out in a single, that the photograph is on the video for that single on, all platforms. SoundCloud has that you can add a photograph to SoundCloud. I'm not on DistroKid and any of the press kit stuff at the moment, so I'm not on Spotify musically. I'm only on there podcast-wise, on the podcast side of things. But I'm on SoundCloud. I have one recent release, as I've mentioned before. SoundCloud has the curated, specially crafted, like my favorite tracks, basically. YouTube has everything, and then the other ones, other than those two, I would say, and this is the thing too. From SoundCloud being that, there's multiple projects on there on the same account. So anything as far as right now goes. So right now there's just one song. So there's no need to rush on over there. But you can find me on SoundCloud. You can find me on YouTube, and for right now, that's it. Excuse me. But But the other platforms that you can find me on coming soon in anticipation of anything minus the DistroKid press kit Spotify issue. What you can do is simply see just see what's on. I think I'm kind of lost in space right now, halfway, semi, maybe 25%, like lost in space here. What I'm trying to get at is just saying where you could find my music. All I'm trying to say is that's all I'm trying to say. Where you could find my music. I've already gone over to the specific deets between each platform right now that's available, and then that's not even the main thing as well. The main thing really is the photos. The photos attached to the songs is that's where I was. I was trucking on along a little swift there. SoundCloud rather. You can put a photo for each track. Same with YouTube. So as I said, I'll grab from the whole batch of photos that I took, just maybe a handful, and then put the singles up like that. Put the singles up like there, and it'll be this, and it'll be like it'll just be the same photo. It's what it is the photo. Let me bring myself back up to speed here, as well as the listener, and be very mindful of the listener here, that what it is that the because I got a little carried away there for a second with the song being literally created from the photo. That what it is the song as a single, right? So the song is a single. Has the photo for that single. So it's a photo specifically made for that one song. And that's how it's done. Okay? Even if you don't understand what I'm saying, even if what I'm saying is maybe, I don't know, not supposed to be said, I don't know. Under this context, under these circumstances, I don't even know what that means. I don't know. But it's called, the single has its own photograph. I'm sure I probably got the idea from other artists. So, with that said, I don't need to say where, considering that I have specifically taken the photographs myself in the creative space. That's what the context is. That's what the context of the photographs is. The context of the photographs being captured is that they're taken and created in a creative space. So it's not just a photograph. I'm capturing the photograph, I'm taking the snapshot, I'm taking the snap, I take the photograph, and then I do my work after that. Then after I've done my work, I work and work again and again until I feel like it's complete, until I feel like it's done. Whenever I feel like it's done and it's finished and it's complete, it's attached to the song. It belongs to the song now. It belongs to the single now. I sound like a exorcist. It belongs to the devil now. At exactly 33 minutes into the episode. Very nice. Very nicely done, Mickey. Very nicely done. Third person as well, speech being something I just simply don't do. I just don't do that. So now, anyway, that's a total digression right there. I mean, there's like small chance, it'd be a small wonder if nobody can understand what I'm saying. I get that reaction quite often nowadays. Like, I'll just say things like I'll just be speaking from the heart, or just be speaking my mind, or just be saying whatever's coming natural, and people like literally look at me so extraterrestrial-esque. I couldn't begin to understand why people would care about that at all, but it's another thing that leaves me quite suspicious, without getting even remotely political. Even though today is result of the election, today is the result of the election here in the United States of America. It's the inauguration of the president of the United States of America, and so that's it. That's all that I got for politics. Simply just mentioning that it's inauguration day. Other than that, I'll segue into whatever that I could say politically that comes natural. Honestly, I think that a lot of my personal life, my private life, personal issues, mental stuff, I mean, all that stuff is just totally up for grabs. Like literal fucking just the spoils of carry-on of where, you used to be that you would experience these things, channel it through music, make the music, create the music, put the music out, people enjoy it, and then we hear things and we say things like, if you feeling it and if you're enjoying it, other people will feel it, other people will enjoy it. That's not the case here. That's proven not to be the case here. I'm clearly being pushed into things. I'm being pressured into things. And that's a result of a lot of other personal stuff. It's like I literally can't go any which way whatsoever without being at risk of divulging some personal private issues, some personal or private information, personal private stuff. Now, as I said with the way that it used to be with creative spaces and creating music and being an artist, that it used to be like that. It also used to be that third parties and stuff like that was what that was reserved for. Like, that experience of your privacy being invaded was reserved for, like, hey, third-party companies collecting your cookies and collecting your information is what we're talking about right now. And, like, that's a safe thing to talk about. Anything else that's not safe to talk about is like, well, I'm just kind of like, I guess, constantly always on the fence about being pretty uncertain and never quite clear, never really being able to quite clearly distinguish whether if I'm even on the fence or not. But I'm clearly on the fence and clearly undecisive about what I'm talking about, what I'm getting at, what's going on. And as a result, I'm just sitting here now in this purgatory, broadcasting to a black hole, a vacuum of just fucking rambling, ranting, raving. Can't talk about anything about my personal life, unless, of course, it has something to do with guitar. Like, for example, I got this frost burn, and it's a good feeling. It's like, hey, I got something that I need to heal, and that I actually can heal now. It's like I got this frost burn on my fret hand, and I'm playing the guitar anyway over it, and then I'm, soaking it in warm water, and then I'm, just kind of like applying pressure on it, keeping it warm. And then the conditions, you might want to know the conditions of what I'm able to speak on. I don't know. I mean, it is a free country, so I can just literally speak on anything. And then, it's like to have all of this fucking go down on Inauguration Day. I mean, that's fucked up. That's really fucked up. I mean, it was already really fucked up. Now it's like really fucked up. And it's like, hey, I'm just saying it like it is. And like, well, but what's the end result? Like, what actually happened at the end of it all? You know what I mean? It's like, well, at the end of it all, the clear-cut, easy to understand answer is I made some content. And then put the content out, and then it's on there. It's there on the internet, and it's available for people to view, and people to check out and enjoy, and all this other stuff. And then later, like tomorrow or something, when I view other people's content, I just simply can't understand at all what I'm looking at, like at all whatsoever. And that's a total personal issue. That's a total personal issue. It's probably going to be just like another one of those things that is also too personal is also too TMI alert, too personal, that like just it works itself out naturally. Everything just kind of naturally works itself out for me. The other thing that I can say about honestly about the politics is that I'm glad Trump won. I'm glad Trump is now the president of the United States of America again. And a lot of people are pissed about that. A lot of people are pissed about hearing when they hear me say that, and then they get to hear my feedback about that later. You know, it's just not fair that I would have to have my feedback be provided on that, and I can't get the feedback back. So it's like, you know, I'm not going to sit over here and do that. I'm not going to sit over here and fight over, you know, you're more badass than me, or this than that, or this and that, in that personal domain, or you're not cool enough or anything. And also, in the same breath, I'm also not going to fight over whether, you know, I'm gonna be needing your feedback more than you. I'm gonna be needing your feedback more than you don't need my feedback, or whatever. I don't know, but regardless of what I'm talking about, whether it makes sense or not, I am Mickey GemInEye, and this is the Vault of Doom podcast, season 7 premiere. And you won't have to worry about the season confusion if it's something that appeals to you or not, because 7 seasons into the show, even whether I leave the season alone, like I was looking at my videos the other day or yesterday or whatever day, and just like looking at the number of what episode it is, and like, hey, well, let me just make it real simple and then have it be a video each numbered by every episode instead of the seasons. Then I don't have to worry about it. And then, you know, another part of me while I'm saying it is like, no, but I like having the seasons organized in different playlists so that they're each organized, and I can go, well, season 6 has this character and season 7 has this own character there and everything. It's like, well, whatever it is, I mean, it's a show, and you know, a lot of the stuff that I can't speak on, I didn't speak on, and whatever else there is to put in and fit into this episode, I'll try my best, as the last president said on his X account. And that's where I'd like to go next on the topic here, while I am trucking on along with this momentum here. That I had a pretty good experience recently with X. That's where I'd have to be like, you know, hey, you know, comedy's inappropriate when it just fucking invites itself over like that. But that is kind of funny. Honestly, that is kind of funny. But it just kind of invited itself into the conversation right now. I was like, oh, I had a good experience with X recently. And it's not only inviting itself, it's inappropriate. I don't do that. So, what I will do now is just kind of like allow myself to calm down. To allow that. Just allow that, and then allow myself to calm down, and then allow myself to simply say no to finishing the episode if that's what I would want to do. If that's what I'd want to do is to not finish the episode. But I've opened the episode in this way of, hey, I've had some pretty explorative experiences into creating content that has proven to be extremely beneficial to improvement, like some kind of a motivational speaker might have to say. But there's like a lot of that stuff that really has specific things that people crave and need to be really just that would constitute me as an actual real content creator. Whether I'm following the rules, reading the terms and conditions of privacy policies, whether I'm actually building a following and interacting with people, whether I'm just a fucking nutcase and madman who's lost his fucking mind. The thing that would actually constitute me as a real content creator is the only actual important thing right now. And what I'd say is that, hey, those like topics that I get into on exploring and improving the show, that's what I mean. Finishing the episode. Finishing the episode, finishing things. If you watched last season and pretty much every season up until now, you have definitely seen a bunch of shit that's like not supposed to be there, the same fucking way that like what I just said about X is not supposed to be there. But I've just hopped out of talking about that right now. So because I have an actual point to make. So my point that I said, now that I've calmed down from that, is like, hey, there was an algorithm alteration that's made it so that you don't need to use hashtags. And like, I literally am so glad I'm speaking on this right now, because I'm not sure if that's the same for every platform or not. But if it is, that's great, but probably not. Honestly, if I had to assume, if I had to guess, I'd say no. But it's for X to already be my preference and my favorite one. It's great. You don't have to use hashtags anymore on X. That's all I'm saying. And the problem with that I could say probably might be a problem or something, I don't know, is that I don't make it like a priority to have that as some news. Some news is that officially making it the news. Like, you don't have to use hashtags on X anymore. But other than that, what was good about the experience was I've got, and what's good about the way that I do things is that this pops up, while I'm talking about that. Hey, so Whitechapel's new logo has literal, every similarity except for one tiny thing to the previous logo of the show. So what's cool about the new logo is what's cool about the new logo. What's obviously not so cool about what I just told you about Whitechapel's new logo is like, well, now how the fuck am I going to be comfortable talking about what specifically my new logo is now and shit? I'm not even actually suspicious and apprehensive and paranoid. I'm just just full-blown, straight-up uncomfortable at the moment. And I know for sure that I'm gonna be comfortable later, and be way more comfortable fucking later with talking about this shit. And I'm working on it right now. I'm like literally working on having everything fucking that I want to put out be put out, and that working with the videos and the content that I want to do being created anyway, whether I'm feeling uncomfortable or not. Rain, sleet, or snow, no guts, no glory appears again. To anybody else who could take something from that, that's where I could use your feedback. That's where I could use your good, bad, or ugly feedback. Drop them in the comments and let me know. Especially with what I was just saying specifically about the issue, And is that complaining? I wouldn't say necessarily it's complaining, even though it is obviously complaining. And is that why there's no feedback? Yes, it obviously is, but I wouldn't say that that's something I should care about. Nor should anybody. Nobody should care about that. And anyway, so with this being kind of like cracking open a new season and a stopgap, I think that's about where I would literally, in my standards, kind of pretty much call the fucking introduction shit. And then have some shit like, this is what you can look forward to, and then have something else or something like that. But I in the same way that I might be a nutcase and just a madman, a lunatic on the loose, walking around podcasting, in the same sense, like, I can't possibly ever look at any of these guys that try to improve your social media on spamming your inbox and say anything at all. But it's nice that I had, and I even commented on that too. I made like a whole section of my show filled with me commenting on that. That's saying, it's nice that some chick posted poetry in, like, a literal poem in trying to market and advertise her service of improving and marketing your social media accounts. And that's not even like really like possible for people to say no or not say anything at all to that. So like I said, again, I commend her. Still big ups on her. Good job. But it's a big deal. But it's not like, it's still not like at this point where I'm at the level of the gravity of this situation, the level at which I'm doing this, that I could ever look any of those guys in the face and just say anything at all. I can't say anything at all to them anymore. Is that it couldn't possibly be complaining, because I couldn't possibly care. Is the main thing. Again, I went to common sense earlier. It's not quite common sense if it's lacking anymore. So, is common sense an outdated modality? That'd be something for the philosophy side of the podcast. When that kind of builds up, if it remains, I doubt it will, as it's just a metal music podcast. But if it does remain and it's beefed up and has enough juice, then, there will be some of that. But if there's not, and there most likely won't be, just going off of my own logic and common sense or whatever I might be thinking, then there probably won't be there. So there's another thing too. It's just like, whatever this fucking little quarantine is, and whatever the fuck quarantine was when the COVID hit, and then whatever personal experiences that I've had it with, you can expect to see that in a badass motherfucking memoir that I'm gonna write. So, what worries could I possibly fucking have, honestly? I was thinking about this on the level of a lot of other people's perspective the other day. And I was thinking, well, everybody's obviously all had a fucking bad-ass life. We all have cool stories to tell and shit. And there's different, there's different levels of it, and there's maybe some that's authentic and some that's just fish tales, fairy tales, and all this stuff. But there's plenty of fucking people that are going to be wanting to write memoirs and all this shit. And there's plenty of fucking, just like, that's that. That's where the line is drawn. That's the end. There's just, there is memoirs. People can write memoirs. You can have that be an experience, something you do, and then make it. Just do it. And then that's it. The end. But, talking about speaking of, there's a couple of, like, artists that have put theirs out, and I've advertised that on my show, and the links are available in those. If I had, like, specific numbers of the fucking episodes that they were on, that might help, but since I don't, it doesn't quite help. It doesn't really even help to mention it. And I've had a lot of other thoughts too, just floating through, like what I could use for the show. It's like, well, for starters, the new logo is a pretty great premise. The new logo is the Eye of Sauron. So, that's badass. That's really cool. And, just another one of those things that fucking happens on accident and shit. A lot of accidents happen in the fucking dark and eat on the grass that you want. And accidents happen in the dark and eat on the grass that you want. And accidents happen. But there's like literally fucking too many fucking details just flow fucking by. That like now that's all I'm gonna fucking do. Now comes the boring part. That's how I'm feeling about the shit right now. Like, hey, now it's gonna be the boring part. And it's not only not gonna be boring, it's like now it's gonna be so boring. I know it's gonna be boring. I'm gonna do everything in my power now to make sure it's not boring, and that makes it even more boring and sucking living fuck out of the spontaneity of the fucking shit. But fuck that. Fuck this and fuck everything. Metal is doomed. The world is doomed. And it's a metal music podcast. I am Mickey GemInEye. This is Vault of Doom podcast. I've said that the third time, so I have to keep going now. Just be like, well, what did I actually fucking say in here? You know, what do I actually title this? Stopgap episode? Sometimes I gotta like throw this in there. Like, I do enough editing on spreading myself too thin, if I like to call it that, and all this other stuff, and all these other videos and all this other stuff, that like having that up as a catalog in such a short amount of time might be something that I'd be thinking about if I cared. But obviously, since I care so much, well, I don't have to care then. I don't have to care since I care so much about the shit. Does that make any sense? No, it makes no fucking sense at all. You know, what makes fucking sense is just like the fucking momentum and experience level that I have doing this makes it so that I'm gonna be fucking at this level right now, where really what I feel like, honestly, like I'm being picked on. I'm being fucking cornered. I'm being bullied. I'm bullying myself here. And it's just so entertaining under that context, now that I've said it, and it's so entertaining under the anybody that like knows that for sure. Like, if you know that, then it's really entertaining. If you know, you know. And what I would like to get into, as topics go, is just like, hey, well, you know, a lot of other people are doing this now. A lot of other people are doing this work from home. A lot of other people are doing this. I'm a podcaster. I got a podcast. A lot of people are doing this. I'm one-man black metal. A lot of people are doing this. Like, it is supposed to suck the fun out of it. And it's how you react that's most important, you know? I am fucking reacting like this. This is my reaction. I'm reacting right now. It's being experienced right now. I'm experiencing the reaction right now. And it's not, I don't know, it's just like, it's not okay to fucking be calling it that I'm bullying myself and being picked on, when I'm just a determined individual. I'm just a determined young man. You know, it's just not, it's like, there's no quite rules being broken here, really. There's just, people should know better. You know, if there's anybody that's specifically doing it, how could there not? How could there possibly not be anybody that's got anything to do with it? It's just like, you'd have to subscribe to the Matrix concept, and that you're in a computer simulation to go with that theory. I don't. So I don't. People are making podcasts. People are working from home. People are making one-man bands. You know, with all that being very integral, playing an integral role in the economy, playing an integral role in stuff, you know, generally speaking, socially, there's just little tidbits of news that I come across that I can throw in here and toss in here. And if you watch podcasts and listen to podcasts for the same reason that I do, you'll get something out of this. So one of the stuff that pertains to that topic is something I may not have mentioned on the show, and that is, I don't believe I did mention on the show, and that is that in apparently, and it's all about where your news sources come from. You know, actually, I'm gonna cut myself off right there, actually, because I don't even share shit unless I have the fucking backed up with the links. And I mentioned earlier on in this episode that I don't even share shit when I'm trying to teach you about music or show you anything about music unless I have the links up that are official. You are gonna know, let it be known, that I will share those official things. And that's kind of a privilege, you know. That's a privilege. I consider that a privilege. I'd consider that me being as one of the in the know. I'd consider that it just doesn't, however, that doesn't excuse and bar me from being able to put in input and provide feedback and provide suggestions of improvements and things like that. That space needs to be there. That space should always be there, no matter what kind of thing you're into. It needs to always be there. So, that's that, guys. I think I'm about tapped in. Fucking tune in, drop out, and all this other shit, man. I got like nothing but random fucking ramblings and ravings from here on in. So here's what you get. Here's what you get on the overtime fucking mode, Mickey GemInEye, Vault of Doom status. Yo. Alright. So here we go. The thing about having people that do a lot of this stuff is where I was just left. And where I'm headed now is being like really into the stuff that I'm into, and that I just like, I totally feel like my passions are where, and my willpower is where I'm at with stuff. You know, that's where I'm at with stuff. Like, to be having courage to say stuff. That's total cop out, man. It's like, I have the courage to do this and the courage to do that, and then it's a cop out, you know. It's like, I don't know how to respond when people use cop outs. I don't know how to respond when people do the, as they call it, sneak dissing, sneaking up on you, sneaking up behind. I can't understand, because it's not an official challenge. That's not an official battle. You know, I'm using this platform to not only have my moment in the sun, or have the dog shine on the sun's ass every now and then, but it's I'm communicating something, I'm saying something, and that is one of the main things that I have this issue that should be addressed. Is like, well, what is the challenge? You know, I haven't recalled much other than the really super extremely big ones that seem to be so fucking private, confidential, that are official, and like are not sneaking up on me, sneak dissing and any of that. You know, you see how people like me, who have watched way too many movies, have their mind completely fucking rotted out and to the core, and that it's been diluted in ways that it affects your imagination, and it's affecting this and that. And that people saying that about pornography is the same thing as basically me saying that about movies. And then it's like, well, I guess I'm no exception to. I guess I'm just like everybody else that says that then. And it's like, well, no big deal. I'm moving on from there then. You know, but that is the challenge. That is the source of the sneak dissing, folks. It's self-sabotage. I mean, I already went over the topic in this episode that it used to be creating the music is how you deal with that. Creating the music is how you channel and communicate that, and it hasn't changed. It's just slightly, the perception of it seems to be so fucking slightly altered, that it's like, well, yeah, music is still the great communicator, but it's really fucking doing some serious makeovers right now in terms of all the shit that's happening. I mean, there's this, there's that, there's all this news, there's everything flying at you, there's all this fucking information all the time, all this constant input, and there's a bunch of people constantly saying that exact thing, and there's a bunch of, you know, it's like, Well, what do you have to fucking say that? What do you have to actually do? Who are you? And then, you know, it's like, well, there you have it then. There it is. There is the magician not revealing his secrets. Combated against whatever fucking way that I just snuck a personal challenge in on myself here. Where that personal challenge, I already forgot. I can't fucking remember. Like, while I'm talking, I'll have to review the episode later and then further sneak the challenge fucking in there on wasting time and listening to my own fucking show. What the fuck do I want to do that for? It's like, no, I'm just doing this shit to do it at this point. I'm this far in the game that I'm just doing this to do this. And sometimes it's fun, and sometimes it's work, and sometimes it's just bleh. But as a stopgap episode, stopgap being like stopping the gap, plugging the huge gap from the last episode into this one. I've got to clean up and just kind of squeak up and trim everything up and tidy up here, folks. I'm running a tight ship. One thing that actually occurred to me recently was a lot of the other self-sabotage stuff, and that's just, it's the same, it kind of all just goes under the same pot. It goes into the same category. It's like self-sabotage, well, meet the song where I'm literally saying that so that I don't need to say it. And then anything after that, well, meet me saying something about it anyway. And then anything else after that, meet, well, everything else that comes after. It's like, well, what is the actual quality of the show? It's like, well, that's where I need you. That's where I need your feedback, and it doesn't, the fucking shit just literally is a tree falling in the woods with no one around to hear it. But all the cool stuff is still there. I mean, all the cool stuff is still there, and the stuff that I care about the most is definitely there. So having that said, guys, I still would say that this is where I pull all my good stuff. At this moment in the show, in this moment here, I just go and say, like, yeah, I need to talk about this too. Yeah, I need to talk about that too. Yeah, I need to talk about these things, and let's talk about these things and stuff. It's scary. It's very scary. It's very scary. It's very startling. It can be described that way. It'd be nice to hear that from someone else and see someone else saying that from time to time. Like, dude, you're scary. Dude, you're weird. Someone actually said that to me. Like, you're weird. And people say that a lot. Like, in my whole life, they're just like, you're weird. You're a weird guy. This weird guy. This crazy guy. It's like, all right, cool, nice, awesome, cool. I'm still that. Still got it. You still got it, Mickey. And then I fucking go and I say, I'm thinking about it. I'm like I'm sitting down, laying down the other day, and I'm thinking, I gotta make some changes and alterations. All these changes and alterations to life in general and the human experience is inspiring me. And I need to make some improvements and alterations to my nomenclature. So I go and I say, like, hey, let's change it to fucking Mike. And I did. I literally did. I was like, I'm gonna introduce myself. I was at the coffee shop or something, and I'm like, I'm Mike. And then I'm like at the fucking other place, and I'm like, I'm Mike. That's my name. I'm Mike. My name's Mike. Because that's what Mickey is. Mickey is Mike. Mickey, Mike, Mickey. Mickey, Mike. That's what it is. So then I do that, and then I'm like, well, clearly, obviously, that's not good enough. That's way definitely not good enough at all. And so I'm like, well, then what the fuck do I make my name then? Well, Mickey GemInEye then. Put Mickey GemInEye in there, and then you have, it's complete. It's complete then. Then it's total. And then it's like, well, no, it's not complete yet, because now it's just, my name is just out there, and then the work, the creative work that I'm doing is just plundered and pillaged. Like I literally was saying about the Whitechapel logo. Like it's literally like the same exact two symbols combined together and then in a different way. And then how do I approach that? I got pissed. And then later I didn't get pissed. And then me talking about it, well, that's just going to make somebody else pissed. I doubt now it reverberates and echoes. And then me talking about it with anybody at all, I don't have anybody to talk to it about that has shouldn't, and I shouldn't either. I totally understanding of that. Totally understand. What do I want somebody else to say about that? You know, well, the answer is pretty simple: legal litigation. You know, like, hey, is your shit fucking copywritten? You know, if so, then whatever. It doesn't matter if you put your shit up first. And then not only that, as much momentum and all that stuff that I don't have the clout. I don't have the actual clout that this guy has. And then furthermore, okay, sitting here talking about it right now, like that being my relish, that's my fucking dessert topping of that is like, well, no, not really. That's not it either. That's not what I fucking have to call a show. That's not what I call to have my enjoyment from doing the show. But what is it then? What the fuck do I enjoy this shit so much for then? You might be asking. I might be asking. I don't know. I might be being like, just take it to the next level. Take it to the next level. You know, I'm a weird, crazy guy, but let me take it to the next level. I was doing my normal podcast consumption, and then I came across stuff that was extremely helpful to me in my personal life. And then, you know what else? I can't fucking apply it to anything. Not only can I not apply it, I have to talk about it first, and by the time I talk about it, I don't want to fucking apply it anymore. I mean, that's torture, man. That's fucking really bad. That's probably what somebody else would say. You know, and drop a comment as soon as and with the timestamp as soon as you think I'm crass or out of pocket. Make sure you got the timestamp in there so I know, and then I can improve. Anywho, and at any rate, those comments are where I'd like to head to. Like, right, improvements. You know, it's so the only thing that's standing out to me right now. That you can have only literally one friend or two friends in your whole life, and that's like fucking life shit. That's like life lessons shit. So with the show being beefed up with some philosophy, or beefed up with some of this, and beefed up with some of that, I gotta be heading out here and fucking eat some beef pretty soon and get my fucking shit going on with that fucking shit. But dudes, lions, fucking, I'm not like I'm like literally gonna just say I'm not qualified or worthy. Legions, I'm not qualified or worthy, you know. Doing fucking the thing that I need to do the most is where I'll fucking close off on, okay? Having the fucking shows perform live and even just streaming the fucking shows live is crucial. It's so crucial. So absolutely fucking crucial. I've seen videos of people doing vocals. I've made a video of me recording vocals on Withered and Decayed music video. That's a video of me recording vocals. That's not even to mention the live streamed on my Twitch. But getting actually out there and physically doing the shows, I mean, like, I have nothing but, like, blockage and this it's just that's it. That's the only way that it is. That's just that way or the highway. That's the only way. It's the only way. Okay? Me marking in my calendar all these other artists that are coming and all the festivals and announcing the festivals, and that's like one aspect going straight up hand in hand with me actually being in one of these festivals and actually being and doing one of these shows. And then these two things, and it's like literally fucking get rich or die trying style shit, guys. Anyway, folks, it's over fucking with on this stopgap episode. I hope you fucking enjoyed this shit that should really get you thinking. If it gets you thinking too much, smoke a lot of pot, eat some fucking legal mushrooms. Listen to me while you're walking around in nature. Just go to if you're one of those guys that likes getting your dick sucked while you listen to podcasts, go to a bordello, get your dick sucked, and then fucking listen to me talk about music and life shit and cool rock star shit. I'm Mickey GemInEye. This is Vault of Dim Podcast, Season 7, episode something along the lines of the first 3. And then we'll see what goes down after these first 3 episodes, where you can expect something awesome. That's all I'll say. Farewell. Thank you.